Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Sim Motorsport Association, proudly associated with Motorsport South Africa, the only place to find official GT7 South African Championships in 2025, growing the sport together. This is season 1 of the SMA GT500 Championship, and introducing myself, Sean Madden, aka Flawed Genius Gaming on Twitch, I'll be presenting 12 weeks of exciting and competitive racing across 12 different locations in what could be an amazing season, showcasing some of the finest South African talent you'll find on a racetrack. But to back up this talent, I am fortunate to find two of the finest commentators that'll be alongside me throughout this season, as one will be joining me tonight and happens to be Scottish royalty. You will often hear his dulcet tones across all platforms and the biggest of racing broadcasts. I am so lucky to have him signed up for the opening of SMA. He'll be music to your ears as long as you don't let him sing. Unfortunately, our budget didn't cover the cost of the Proclaimers, although I'm sure it will proclaim to walk 500 miles. Introducing you to Mr. John Wright, aka 00 Raven on Twitch. Welcome to SMA and good evening to you.
Good evening, Sean. I'm not sure how to feel about after that the singing remark there, but yes, you are correct. I would walk 500 miles, and I definitely would walk 500 more to be the man sat beside you in the commentary box this evening. It is round number 1. It's my beloved Barcelona, the absolute top of the tree of South African Gran Turismo 7 racing, and I'm absolutely here for it, Sean. What a season we've got ahead of us.
Yes, indeed. We've got an absolutely fantastic season ahead of us with some amazing drivers out on circuit as well. And I can imagine this is going to be an absolute intense encounter for the opener in the GT500 Championship. So before we get started, it's worth mentioning that to recognise the SMA sponsors, as without their funding and organisation, we wouldn't be able to present to you this season's GT500 Championship. So firstly, a big thank you to Motorsport South Africa. We are proudly associated with the head of all official motorsport in South Africa, a member in the governing body of the FIA. It's a huge honour for SMA to fly the flag for South Africa and provide the only place for official GT7 championships on behalf of MSA and the nation. We are also sponsored by Simulator Cave, the haven for all your high-end sim goodies, whether it's racing cockpits or wheel bundles. Simulator Cave is your #1 fix to scratch that sim racing itch. This South African distributor is FIA regulated in a market where sim racing equipment is hard to find locally. However, Simulator Cave makes it easy for you, providing an extensive range of Fanatec and Moser products at very reasonable prices, and also without the hassle of the import taxes and shipping costs. But don't take my word for it. Book yourself an in-store sim experience and see for yourself. Links are in the description below. And lastly, sponsored by TGSC Cape Town Golf Academy, the hotbed of talent development, creating an environment for nurturing golf talent for potential successes at home and to the wider stage. A massive, massive thank you to all 3 sponsors today. So, on to the race calendar for this season then. And we have 12 races in front of us. So, starting off, as John mentioned, we are at Catalunya for round 1. That is followed up by a visit to Italy for Lago Maggiore. In round 3, we are off to Croatia for Dragon Trail Gardens. Round 4, we're at Brazil for Interlagos. Then the last race of the 2008 GR2 season, we are in Japan for the Fuji Speedway. Then we've got a special event following it in round 6. Round 7 will be at Japan for Suzuka. Round 8, we're at Trial Mountain in America. Round 9, we are off to Europe in Belgium for Spa-Francorchamps. And then in round 10, the last of the 2016 model series, we're in Germany for Nürburgring GP. In fact, the last one is in America. Sorry, that is my mistake there. In round 11, we're at Daytona International Speedway, and then the grand finale will be a special event to be announced in week number 12. Then on to the cars for this GT500 Championship. Drivers will need to pick their respective manufacturer ahead of this season. The choices are between Honda, Nissan and Lexus, but need to consider that is for both the 08 and the 2016 models, and with the latest update that dropped recently, changed the previous BOP model between all of the cars. Drivers will need to choose wisely, as there's no going back from this point on. But just to reiterate and make you understand, if you choose the Nissan for the championship, only the Nissan 2008 GTR and the Nissan 2016 GTR can be used for this season. So onto the season format, a completely original format. So let's give you a rundown on all the ins and the outs. So there are going to be 12 races in total for this season's championship, divided up into 2 parts. The first 5 races will be in the 2008 Group 2 cars, followed by a special event in race 6. This will be a random car and track combo with details only known to the drivers once the first series is complete. We will then have 5 races in the 2016 models from race 7, followed by another special event to round off this season's championship. Over 80 drivers have been entered for this season, meaning drivers have been divided into no less than 6 tiers, determined by their qualifying seeding prior to the series. The fastest 14 times entered will be placed in the top tier, tier 1. The second fastest 14 will be placed in tier 2, and so forth to tier 6. However, there is a twist. So in case a driver put in a disappointing showing in the qualifying round, there is a chance for redemption with opportunities to rise up the tiers throughout the first half of the season. After each race, there will be a promotion to a higher tier and a relegation to a lower tier based on your point standings. The top 3 drivers on point standings will be promoted to a higher tier. Bottom 3 are relegated to a lower tier. The last chance to change tiers will be when race 6, the special event, is completed. So then from race 7, tiers will be locked down to whatever tier you finish in. From this point, you'll be fighting for honours in that respective tier. Top 3 in each tier will win a prize at the end of the season, with more details on that as the season unfolds. This means every race is crucial. You'll be merited for your great performances and punished for your poor performances, ensuring drivers will be kept on their toes, fighting for every race and position. Best of luck to all the drivers in season 1. So, on to the track details. John, can you kindly tell us about today's race info and the track stats, please?
Indeed I can, yeah. What a season we've got ahead, and what a format we've got, as Sean was just going over there. Constant jeopardy for the drivers right through to week number 5. How close is week 5 going to be, with that being the last chance for promotion? It's going to be fun, but tonight we do break ice on the season with my beautifully beloved Barcelona. I was actually here to witness groundbreaking on this track back when I was a little lad in 1992 when it was built. One of the youngest tracks that is in existence. Hasn't had many changes, most of them enforced by Formula 1 drivers that can't actually drive. A lot of it, of course, helmet homologation. we've got the no chicane track this evening. It is in Spain that we see ourselves, as I mentioned, no chicane for this one, and it is going to be the opener for the SMA GT 500. It's a 4.6 kilometre track, or 2.8 miles for the less educated amongst us like myself. We've got 6 turns to the left, 8 to the right, 14 in total. It is safe to say this track is an absolute staple on the F1 calendar. It was once the proud location of the European Grand Prix, and it is still used for winter pre-testing for very, very, very good reasons as well. This track has got a little bit of everything. It looks innocuously easy from the surface, but anyone that's driven it will tell you the fast straights, the heavy braking zones, the hairpins, and the medium speed corners push both the drivers and the cars to their absolute limit. For this evening's fair, we've got a 10-minute qualifying session with a 50-minute race. The tyres will be racing. The required tyre is going to be the mediums. The available tyres will be the softs and the mediums. And based on what I'm seeing in practice, Sean and I are going to be spending a lot of time talking about tyre choices. And in tonight's race, as I said, we've got the 10-minute quality, the 50-minute race. Those tyres will be depleting at ×3. The fuel consumption set to ×3 as well. And just to make sure it's all nice and even off the start, we are going to have a rolling start for the race. It's going to be an absolute cracker, Sean. And the tyre management, that really is going to be one of the big points that the drivers are going to be talking about.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, it's certainly going to be a race of tyre management and being patient behind drivers behind. It could lead to different tyre strategies, although I have been told that most of the drivers have opted for the one stopper, which could be medium. We are expecting there to be about 32 laps in this race, so halving that, 16 laps on the mediums each stint. But we'll have to wait and see because, of course, things can be thrown to the wind. You know, maybe different strategies could become faster, but who knows? You know, obviously the drivers will know. Us in the commentary box, like you know, this is why we're in the commentary box, isn't it, John? Because what do we know?
Exactly. Extrapolation, guesstimation, and incorrectly throwing your hat in the ring when a driver decides to do the complete opposite and still manage to come home with the race win. The type of thing you can expect here in the comedy box this season. And the drivers will be absolutely delighted to prove us wrong time and time again. I'll tell you what, Sean, I think we are watching some of the times that we're currently seeing in practice. I don't want to give away too many spoilers. Close is not the word. This is going to be a spicy meatball. Spicy paella. We're in Spain. We'll go for paella, but yeah, it certainly is going to be a spicy paella tonight. And we've got some absolute cracking drivers in this lineup as well, Sean.
Indeed we do. So something to mention is that we've got 14 of the fastest South African drivers to have. We're very, very lucky to have such pedigree in this championship, and regularly you'll see them posting top 200 global rank times in the daily races. And I can tell you, John, that the seeding times was extremely close going into this event. So just 9/10 of a second was separated by Papaya Racer on pole position with a 1 minute 22.9 to Puma Racing Nil in P14 with a 1 minute 23.8, and just a thousandth separated both Puma teammates, the Joker and Nil. And also worth mentioning, so their other teammate, Bridgens, that's not on that list, he missed out on tier 1 by half a tenth. Absolutely crazy.
Wow.
So yeah, let me just quickly read you through the driver lineup for tonight. Then we've got Papaya Racer, we've got TNR Levitius, we've got VSR Galara, VSR JDJ, VSR Wolfie, VSR Richard, VSR Vars. I'm going with Vars. We've got Deacon, we've got Puma Racing Mac, TNR Whipperman, Kennels UG, Stiglet, Puma the Joker, and Puma Racing Neil. And yeah, certainly this is going to be one hell of a race. And remember, the bottom 3 finishers will be relegated to Tier 2 next week.
Yeah, that tell you, this is one of the things about this competition that's got me more. There we go. If I change it to that, I can see what you see. Excellent. Right. Yeah, I had a different set of names up on my screen there, but I had the nicknames on instead. But yeah, the format for this competition, never mind the tyre strategies, the fact that you can get promoted and relegated every single round for the first 5 rounds. The possibilities for that are absolutely astronomical when you think we could see. All it takes is 1 or 2 bad races, a misjudged pit stop, a misjudged turn 1. You can't win a race in turn 1, but you can lose one. And we could find some of the top drivers fighting to get their way back out of Tier 2. Could we see anyone from Tier 1 down to Tier 3? Potentially 2, yeah. Well, they're going to have to go down to 2 because 3 cars will go down to Tier 2 at the end of this race. How far will Tier 1 sink, and how far up? Who is going to rise furthest through the ranks? There's always one surprise contender. You go to the World Cup, you go to Wimbledon, any place you go, there's always some outsider, some wild card that just absolutely nails it. Match after match, race after race, and yeah, I am excited to see the prospects that we are going to see, not only dipping in and out of this league in the top tier, but staking a claim for their place in the top tier. As Sean and I often say, qualifying is vanity. It's your finishing position that is where the sanity lies, and the teams have done and the drivers have done the first part of the job. That's qualify and get yourself set in a tier for the competition, but it doesn't end there. You've got to then set a quality type race week in, week out until week 5 to maintain your spot in the split you're in, or improve on the split you're in. The connotations are just, yeah, I'm grinning ear to ear at the thought of what we're going to see here, Sean. And with the driver lineups that we've got already, I mean, 3 of these drivers won't be here next week.
I know, it's absolutely crazy, John. It's you know, no one can rest on their laurels, John. It's certainly a race that you can't afford to make a mistake. You've really got to have a good game plan and really try to be consistent, try to be fast, and like I say, one slip up and yeah, you could be history. So yeah, this is so exciting, John. I can't wait for this. Qualifying is about to get underway, so let's get on board with a driver. And to be honest, John, I think what I might do is go on board with the... Let me just get on the... There we go. So, yeah, I might get on board with Papaya Racer, actually, because he was the pole sitter. He set the fastest lap time in the qualifying seeding. So it sounds like he's got absolute amazing pedigree, even though, you know, we've got 14 amazing drivers. Of course, John, you will know... Levitius or Levitius, you know, top driver, always competing with the very best drivers out there. But yeah,
actually, breaking news, Sean. Sorry to throw myself in here, but breaking news: tonight's top split will only feature 13 drivers. We do have Kennels in the chat. He is saying that his internet has decided to bug out on him, and he isn't going to make today's race.
Oh wow. Okay.
So I actually did have a question about that. I was having a quick flick through the rules. I did wonder, because Kennels isn't here this evening, does that mean he's automatically demoted to Tier 2 next week? Is he one of the 3 that gets demoted?
I think so. I think so.
Yeah.
Which
wow,
is...
so he's going to go straight down to Tier 2, because obviously the cars that turn up will only be the bottom 2. We couldn't exactly relegate the bottom 3 when there's a car, unfortunately, whether it's technical issues or otherwise, not being able to make it look out close. Oh, sim racing is sim racing. Sorry, I'm looking at the practice sessions. The drivers all out there trying to find space on track, and right in one another's pocket. Levi has done the sensible thing. He's come out right at the back of the track. But yeah, as I'm saying, yeah, so already we have got Kennels, who is out of tonight's race. He'll be down to tier number 2. We've got Tashreeq Davids in the chat cheering on Stigler. I saw Robbie G in the chat as well. We've seen Mess's Lower in the chat. Neil Pretorius, good evening. We had Kennels, who've been typing away right from the start. Sim Motorsport Association in the chat as well. Good evening. Thank you very much for putting on such a phenomenal event. The calendar is absolutely incredible, and 2 surprise rounds as well. Who doesn't love a Dragon Trail race? Exactly. Not a single hand up in the room. Everybody loves that track. Oh, as much as we'll love this one as well, Barcelona. But yeah, good evening to everyone in the chat. Little Pumpkin is in there as well. Hopefully I've got everyone. Oh no, we've got a Niskat Burger. Proud mom here. Oh, okay. Who would your son be? Which car are they in? Or daughter, my apologies. Shireen Pengilly in the chat as well. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, whichever part of the world you're in. I know it's all South African drivers, but certainly it's a multinational viewership that we've got at the moment. But yeah, do let us know who you are cheering on. And I'll tell you what, Sean, one of the other things that I am absolutely loving about this league, not only we're growing a sport someplace where there is just a plethora of talent waiting to break through on the track, the artistic side of things as well. Très magnifique. Some of these liveries are absolutely on point. The VSR team will be very easy to pick out, and that livery looks absolutely stunning on all 3 of the cars. A lot of Hondas. And just to pick you up on one of the pronunciations you didn't quite get correct earlier on, Sean. It's Nissan GR. You've got to say it very nasally like an Australian, because that is the spiritual home of the Nissan GR, I have been told by many streamers. Ho ho, Levi. He is he's looking quick.
Wow, that is a ridiculous time from Levitis there, because yeah, 1 minute 31.885. I didn't think anyone was going to break the duct of a 1 minute 32, but no, I've been proved wrong already. We are 4 minutes into this qualifying session, 6 minutes to go. I would imagine a lot of the drivers just putting in their banker laps at the moment, John, because as you can see from the tyre degradation, that the soft tyres don't tend to last very long, do they? So,
no, especially not in quali mode, Sean, because you know what these drivers are like. They will take that 5% off during the race as and when appropriate to get to the end, but during a quali session, no quarter is given nor asked for any part attached to the car, and that includes those poor tyres. There's going to be an extra 4 inches of rubber on every curving around the track before the end of the day, judging by the amount of soft rubber the drivers are leaving out there. I'm just having a look. Deacom, and it's crazy. That just goes to show you, Sean. I'll bet you when Deacom woke up this morning, he thought, yeah, nobody's getting into 32s. He posted 31.9, hurrah! But then Levi goes quicker.
Yes,
yeah,
indeed,
cheers, Levi. And he's
yeah.
just backed off with the 32.0. How is that for consistency during a qualifying session, Sean? It's frightening.
Oh yes, it's absolutely frightening, and yeah, this is where we're kind of in that little bit of the unknown at the moment, John, because of course you know, this is qualifying. Of course, they are pushing pedal to the metal and really try to maximise what they can get out of the cars. But then, of course, going into the race is a very different strategy, of course, isn't it? Because I would imagine if you're pushing, them tyres are going to die very, very quickly. So I think it's all about tyre management and, you know, perhaps not getting on the brakes as much, perhaps you know, trying to sort of keep it nice and smooth and try to make them tyres last as long as possible whilst still being fast.
It's a knife edge balancing point. Sorry, I choked on a cup of tea there trying to get a quick lubrication in as we continue to crack on. But yeah, it is. It's an absolute balancing act. And as you said, it's a 50-minute race. The drivers have got plenty of time out on track. If they are going to go for the one-stop strategy, they're going to spend a lot of time on the medium. So I think we could see a lot of them get those soft tyres. They are going to be all the way red, I would surmise, before we see a lot of the drivers coming in. do we think, Sean, with there being so many laps, we're surely, I mean, they've got to go out on the mediums, so potentially start on the mediums or start on the softs, get them for as long as you can, go with the mediums. Do you think we'll see anyone brave enough to go for a one stop and take softs on both stops? Oh no, because mediums are mandatory, sorry.
Yes.
Getting myself confused.
Yes, indeed. So, to be honest, John, the way I would play it is I think I would start on the mediums, and then it gives you that sort of optimal opportunity to decide, do we do the one stop on the just the mediums, or, do we then decide to do two stops, go medium, soft, soft? Because one thing to consider is that yes, you do get the slipstream of the car in front and get that boost down the straights, but then of course through the corners you're going to get a lot of dirty air, a lot of lack of aerodynamics in the cars. You're going to get that tyre wear as well. The tyre wear is going to be a big issue being stuck behind the car, so they might get a little bit frustrated being behind the car, and they might opt to swap out their strategies and go for the two-stopper. So this is where I think this could be very interesting, and we'll see in due course, I guess, John.
Yeah, indeed we will. Sabre Simracer is in the chat cheering on Levi. Good evening, Sabre. How we doing? Salim Wiki Khan cheering on TNR as well. Good to see everyone out. It's definitely frowned upon. You're right. It's got to be Genie Ann is the way to do it. Sir Maga, Weg is Weg. Kennel saying he was of similar pace. Ghost Rider, I think, is asking Kennels why he's not racing tonight. Yeah, internet issues. It just goes to show you whether it's real racing or sim racing, technical can happen and it can catch you out. No one is catching Levi's at the top at the minute. Levitius with a 1 minute 31.676 to put himself almost 2.5 tenths ahead of Deacon there in second place. And Equilibrius at 2.5 tenths back to Papaya Racer, who's only got a tenth back to Wolfie, who's currently on a penalised lap. And Sean, this is another thing that's quite unique to Gran Turismo. The way they do the penalties, of course, if you have any kind of infraction, you will then get slowed down across a penalty line. And on this track, it is between Capsa and Lakexa. Could not be a worse place to have the penalty line. It really hammers the driver. So they will have to be absolutely on point, because those little half-second penalties, it says half a second, but by the time you take it and get going again, you can easily see a turnaround of close to a second in your position on the track. And in a field this close, where we've got less than a second separating the top 10, I mean, there's only 1300s between Wiperman and Gallara. That's crazy. But yeah, the penalties as well, Sean, the drivers are going to have to be absolutely on point and make sure that those overtakes that they are making absolutely stick. You do not want to be on the wrong side of the track limits here.
Indeed we do. Oh, and we got VSR Richard just sneak into the top three there, John. Sorry to cut you out there, but yeah, just finishing 2 cents behind the pole sitter. That is Levitius with that 1 minute 31.6, and Papaya Racer finishes in P4 with a 1 minute 32.215. It's very close, and let me go and click on the results, and we can get the confirmation of the qualifying results here. So it is Levitius. There we go. Levitius with the fastest lap in qualifying, 1 minute 31.676. Deacon qualifies in P2 with a 1 minute 31.914, which is just 42 1,000th of a second separating himself and VSR Richard in P3. Papaya Racer, as we mentioned, finishes in P4, 1 minute 32.162. Then P5 is VSR Wolfie with a 1 minute 32.262, just a tenth back. Then we got VSR Vars in P6 with a 1 minute 32.3, which is just 2/100th of a second quicker than his teammate JDJ in P7, with Whipperman qualifying in P8, 2 tenths down on him. Then we've got Galara qualifying in P9 with a 1 minute 32.575. P10 went to the Joker, 1 minute 32.692 with Puma Stigler, P11 for him, 1 minute 32.864. Puma Racing Neil with a 1:33 flat. And then at the back of the grid, we're going to have Puma Racing Mac. He grabbed a 1 minute 33.215. Wow, that's what can I say, John? That is just absolutely ridiculous. And if that's anything to go by, John, then we're in for some hell of a race, aren't we?
Yeah, we really are. The Nissan's doing particularly well, as we can see. 4 Nissans, followed by 3 Hondas, and then a 5th Nissan sneaking into the top 8. We've got 4 VSR drivers in the top 7, 5 in the top 9. Not too bad at all. The Lexus not going particularly well around this course. We'll see how it picks up over the rest of the season, but certainly the one to be in at the moment, it would seem, Sean, is definitely that Nissan. And I mean, look at all those A-pluses in that lobby. I feel like I should back out with this, even being a spectator. I don't think I've got a high enough rating to be a spectator in here. But yeah, a lot of A-pluses. And yeah, Levi, we've got a short start, of course, but yeah, Levi is going to lead us off for round 1, Sean. Not a massive surprise, if we're being honest.
Not a massive surprise indeed. So as we get to start the opening round of the SMA GT500 Championship at Catalunya, Levitis is going to lead us down the straight now with a very fast Deacon in his slipstream right now, but it looks like they're going to go in grid order through Elf and into Renault, isn't it, at turn number 3. No moves and shakers at the moment. Wolfie down into P5 with Vars in P6, JDJ in P7, and then we got Vipperman in P8. P9 is Galara, so it's looking like it's a line of stern at the moment with the Joker in P10, Stigler in P11, and Neil in P12, and Mac in P13. So yeah, at the moment,
Stigler's made a mistake. He's out. He's lost 2 positions. As quick as that. That is how quick this and close this is. Through Seat, down through Repsol, sorry. They're heading down through Seat and then up through Wurth. But yeah, Stigler there just having a bit of a moment on the way out with Seat. And that has cost him huge. He's dropped 2 positions instantly. Sean wasn't joking about line of stern. And it looks, Sean, like Vas Vartar. Oh, Wiperman's picked up a penalty. Wiperman's picked up a penalty as Galara is looking to try and pick up a position up the inside. He goes up the hill and he does. Wiperman picking up a penalty, Sean, and dropping a position. He might have started line of stern, but it hasn't stopped the action from really spreading itself out, although Levi has only got a 1.1 second gap while the rest of the field pick up penalties and swap slots. This is a lap 1 you love to see, Sean.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, it's fast and frantic start. I can hardly go through the cameras at this point, John. It is so exciting. And everything happens within seconds, as you said, John. So, yeah, a glorious start for Levitius at the moment, currently 1.2 seconds ahead of Deacon, who finds himself in P2. Then we got Papaya Racer, who's risen up 1 position to move up into P3 with VSR Richard in P4. Wolfie under all types of pressure from JDJ as he looks to hound him down as we come into Seat for turn number 6. But yeah, you can see how close it is between all the drivers. It is very, very, very close, and one little mistake can mess up your race completely. One thing that I didn't even consider, John, is the tyres that the drivers are using.
All on medium.
Yeah, I was just about to say all on mediums as predicted. So yeah, very predictable from the drivers. But yeah, we'll see. Oh, it looks like someone went off the into the background. I think, was it Whipperman or Neil?
Neil.
Was it Neil?
Neil just ran a bit through deep in La Cakes in there. I think he was maybe caught out. Now, I don't have a replay of it because my keyboard has decided to stop working, so I can't grab a replay, but it did look
Yeah, I'm just on the replay now, and he went way too deep into the hairpin. Looks like he missed his braking point. We got two side by side. It looks like it is between Puma Mac and JDJ. And it looks like Puma Mac has made up a couple of positions there because he's got the overspeed on JDJ, although JDJ has got the inside line. Looks like Neil is going to try and go up the inside. No, backs out for the time being. And Mac holds it around the outside, that Elf, and holds on to that P10 ahead of JDJ in P11 and Neil in P12. Stigler to the back of Neil as well. So we've got a big fight for the... well, I'd say P10, John, because of course we know that P12 and 13 are going to end up in the drop zone and relegated into Tier 2 for the next race. So it's very, very important that they don't finish in that drop zone, and there's going to be one hell of a fight, I'm sure, John.
Yeah, 100%. The drivers, they are all looking to make it through the end of the season, and they certainly don't want to be demoted to Tier 2. That means you've got to then finish in the top 3 to get re-promoted again, while the drivers that stayed in Tier 1 are still earning Tier 1 points. Stigler, Neil, JDJ and Racing Mac. Oh, and Racing Mac's picked up a penalty on the exit to Lakakes. That's just popped up on my screen.
Yeah, and JDJ just went up the inside as well, John, into the hairpin. So moving up a position into P10. But yeah, as you said, John, picks up a 0.5 second of a penalty for going wide. Oh, sorry, go on, John.
The Joker's got a penalty as well. They're all very close, but the Joker up in 8th place has got himself a half-second penalty as well. Whipperman, or Wiperman, he had a penalty, managed to take it and get himself back to 9th position, and the Joker ahead has reciprocated. He's given his Lexus a longer run on the back straight, and he's got a half-a-second penalty. He's going to lose that position. Wiperman is going to hang on to the back. 3/10 is nowhere near enough to fend off with a half-second penalty, and that is going to be a position change there. Papaya Racer up into second, as we've seen with Deacon now in third. Wolfie and Richard within 3/10. The VSR train, someone said, chat, it is in full flourishment, especially now Gallara has got past the drivers that were separating him from his teammates, and look at that shot coming out the corner. Hopefully we're seeing that there. Yeah, Puma on board. Sorry, we're on board just now with the Joker. I'm busy keeping an eye on Galabrin and the team just ahead. That is quite the VSR train that we've got going on there. Again, Levi completely oblivious to everything that's going on. He is 2 seconds ahead now of the rest of the field. That is an absolute start of a champion right there. And he has got, that's only 4 laps in. What a start he's on. Papaya Racer and Deacon separated by a second, but as we can see from the back of Wolfie's car, the VSR train are certainly looking to try and get themselves on to the podium. They had 4 drivers in the top 8 at the start of the race. They've now got 5 drivers into the top 8. Will we see any of them get onto the podium? And it's an interesting proposition, Sean, because it is very much a team. Very much
John fires up the inside. Yeah, he's gone for it. And he's made it stick. What a fantastic move there from Vars. Moves himself up into P5 ahead of Richard, and he's going to come under serious pressure from Gallara in P7 as well, because yeah, there is well, I keep saying it, a line astern here, but of course the slipstream being very strong down the straight, if you don't get the best of exits, you can become a cropper down the straight and into the braking zone. So it looks like Richard is going to hold on to number 6 for the time being, but it looks like Vars is catching up to the back of Wolfie now to try and fight out for number 4. And actually it's very, very close through the field, John. We are talking about 5.5 seconds separating the top 5. In fact, you could maybe say 6.3 seconds separating the top 7, but Gallara is going to take that penalty, and I think he's going to hold on to P7, but he may lose that slipstream to the to Rich. In fact, it's going to be served on the next lap there, John. So yeah.
Yeah, that was going to be on the next lap. Again, it makes it even harder for the drivers. You've got to be so much more concentrated when you're actually carrying the penalty, because you don't want to increase it. As you said, though, he is going to lose the slipstream to his teammate Richard. He's only 2/10 behind. His only hope is to somehow slingshot past him and hope that when the penalty comes, he manages to stay within range. But certainly, Varswater Viz is still keeping Wolfie pretty honest just ahead of him, and Deacon as well. He certainly cannot afford to make any mistakes. He is perfectly positioned in the middle of Papaya and Wolfie, but he'll be looking to hang on to that position for as long as possible. I've been having a look down the tyre wear as well. It's been almost identical throughout the car. So too is the fuel consumption as well. They're all very much just got their way through a quarter of a tank of fuel, 6 laps in. What is that? Yeah, so about 24 laps they should get on a full tank. That should do them. So yeah, I'm thinking they're going to run a full tank of fuel on the mediums and then have, what is that going to be, about a 10 lap sprint on the softs. This is going to be a fun one. Stigler has dropped himself right off the back of the grid. He is certainly found wanting for the slipstream. Richard is still looking for that slipstream. As we can see, he's now 7 tenths behind. He's right on the edge. Runs a bit deep through that apex. His teammate Gallara still keeping him closely in his view. The Joker now, though, he is 4 seconds behind. He's got VSR JDJ, who's got himself past the Wiper Man, actually, while we're looking at the rest of the field. He has managed to pull himself an overtake there. So JDJ looking to join his VSR teammates. Just needs to get needs to get past the Joker first. As I say that, out of the last corner, this is very close indeed. That Honda is going to be getting absolutely dragged along behind the Joker, and he is going to be as serious as serious gets. He puts it up the inside into turn number 1. The Lexus moves over and realises he's done absolutely bang to rights. VSR now get JDJ back inside the top 8, and that is quite the team performance they've had so far. Very good individual drives equaling a phenomenal team performance, and that is VSR JDJ joining his VSR brethren.
Oh, he went a little bit deep, didn't he, JDJ? Just managed to hold it around the outside, but the Joker's got to go up the inside. And is he going to take the position? Yes, he does, I think. No, he backs out. So I thought Joker had the inside line. I thought he was going to power on through, but it looked like he just didn't want to battle JDJ. Backs off for the time being, but of course we've got Whipperman just behind as well. He's going to have that slipstream as well. He may sling one up the inside here. The Joker is going to defend for his life though, and hold on to P number 9 through the hairpin there, but so close, John.
Really is close. Wiper Man very nearly wiping the back of the car in front of him, that is for sure. Joker not able to get the counter move done on JDJ. JDJ has said goodbye. He has gone clean out of there with leaving Wiper Man and the Joker to battle out for this 9th position. Although as I say that, the Joker once again gets a phenomenal corner exit out of the last corner. The slipstream, look how much it pulls these cars in towards one another. The Puma, it would have to be a full send from there. All 3 drivers behaving exactly as you would expect at this level. None of them close enough to go for the full send, so they are going to stay line astern until the next opportunity presents itself. We've got a penalty, Sean, further up the field. VSR Wolfie has picked himself up a half-second penalty. Now Richard is going to be promoted another spot, I would say. He's only 8 tenths behind. Wolfie is going to lose series time. Sorry, yes, we saw Wolfie pick up the penalty on the last lap. He's going to serve it on this lap, so that's going to be a positional change there. The top 3 are still as you were at the end of lap number 1, which is just incredible stuff. Levi, I'm going to need to get a new thesaurus so we can wax lyrical about his performance. We are 8 laps in, 2.5 seconds up the road, and his tyre wear, Sean. Oh, sorry, I've just caught a bit of a wiggle there from Deacon. He is absolutely driving the wheels off this thing, trying to keep up to Papaya racer ahead. He's just about keeping in touch, but Papaya is certainly keen to break away. There's so much going on. Richard and Wolfie, they didn't swap positions. No. And this is why I commentate and guesstimate, Sean. Wolfie has managed to hold on despite that half-second penalty. That is a worldly of a sector too he's just put in.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, I mean, he had to be pedal to the metal and try to hold off Richard. The good thing about the penalty zone, though, John, even though
overtaken 9.
Oh, 9.
Overtaken.
Yep. Oh, okay. So side by side.
Whipperman right up the inside, Sean.
It looks like Whipperman has made it stick then, John. Thank you very much there. So, yeah, Whipperman looks like he's on a bit of a charge at the moment. Is it Whipperman or is it Wiperman? I wonder. But to be honest, probably... Yeah, probably good for the Joker though to pull out. Has got that half-second penalty, of course, to serve towards the end of this lap. So maybe wise just to let him through and not battle too much, not to lose too much time on this current lap. It does mean that Mac should be able to make the pass on the Joker once he does serve that penalty and move himself into the top 10. But for now, just looking at the grid behind, so we got Neil, that's 2.2 seconds behind Mac and about 3 seconds behind the Joker. So I don't think the Joker is going to lose another position, and in fact it stays around about the 2 second mark. But
he's just cutting back. The Joker man's just cutting back after the penalty and he's retaken the spot. That was an absolutely incredible play there by Mac. He took the perfect line after the penalty. Yeah, Joker took the perfect line after the penalty. Mac did take the position temporarily, but Joker straight back in front again with the very, very, very nice cutback, it has to be said. The Puma team driving absolute perfect perfection at the minute. As you can see, sorry, the replay for me is a little bit behind, but very nice move from the two of them, Sean. Full commitment on those curbs there, two wheels right out. Almost picked himself up a penalty, but did manage to pick up that or retake that position. Very nice driving indeed.
Indeed, yeah, very bold, very I would say good respect between the drivers, but certainly he did risk it all there, and I think maybe frustrated that he had that penalty, and with Mac in grasp of his car, he decided to go for the switchback, and yeah, it's fantastic when the switchbacks work, and yeah, he certainly made it work for him. So yeah, up into P10 at the moment. We'll look on board with Levitius right now, who is currently 3 seconds ahead of Papaya Racer. He's having an absolutely storming race, and if we look at his lap delta, you can see how consistent Levitius is. I mean, his fastest lap time is a 1 minute 32.9, but you can see consistently within a tenth of each other. 1 minute 33.0, 1 minute 33.2. The last one was a 1 minute 33.4. As you can see from the tyre delta, the tyres are starting to look a little bit worse for wear on lap number 11. So yeah, I mean, to be honest, this is where it's a real struggle for the drivers to keep that consistency and keep that pace up. But certainly Levitius is doing a fantastic job at the moment and keeping Papaya Racer at bay with that 3.2 second lead. Papaya Racer also being very consistent as well, with a 1 minute 32.9 to the sort of mid 1 minute 33s at the minute, with Deacon holding position in P3, and he's also the fastest man on the circuit with that fastest lap, 1 minute 32.885, and he's 1.8 seconds ahead of Vars, who could come under immense pressure from Wolfie, because that gap is now under a second and closing as we go down the straight now. He's not going to be able to make a move for the time being, but if he keeps up this pace, he may be able to complete a move on Vars and still steal that P4 away from him, John.
Indeed, yeah, still a long way to go. A lot of tyres for the drivers to get through. We're going to see them changing onto the softs at some point. Only halfway through his front left at the minute is Mr. Levi and Papaya there in second place still, but further down as we're watching Wolfie the man and Richard, these two VSR teammates, and they are now starting to spread themselves out a bit. As Sean was saying, it's all going to be down to the pit stop closest to Richard and Gallara at the minute. 0.6 of a second separating these two teammates, and Gallara's had a good start. He was outside the top 8. Oh, just as I say that, that would be curse to the commentator, A1 right there. race fans. That is Gallara picking up a half-second penalty, and that is going to be a tough one to bring back as he just slightly misses that apex as well. You can see the left-hand tyres really are feeling the pressure now. We're halfway through those fronts, but that is, yeah, just picked up, just such an innocuous penalty to pick up as well. Minor violation of the track limits.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about fine margins, aren't we, John? You know, the drivers will be looking to maximise the full width of the circuit, but you know, you go over by an inch or two, and unfortunately, very harsh for the for Gallara there, picks up that half-second penalty. But luckily, the penalty zone it is kind of in the braking zone. Yes, you do lose a bit of time, obviously, but it is kind of in the region where the drivers will be braking. So I know. Particularly at a circuit like Interlagos, for example, where the penalty zone there is, it's more like you're losing about 2 seconds because it's on the flat-out section of the circuit. Yeah, Gallara gets to fight to live another day. He's 1.6 seconds behind VSR Richard, so not quite in that slipstream range, but he still has a fight on his hands, and you know, as we're only halfway through this race, John. In fact, when I say only, but it's gone by so quickly already, John. 30 minutes gone. Sorry, 20 minutes gone. So we're approaching the halfway, should I say? I'm so used to ACC, John, with the 1 hour races. I'm expecting drivers to start diving into the pits, but yeah, we are approaching the 20-minute mark of the race, so we are getting very close to the halfway mark, and this is around the window probably where the drivers will be thinking about pitting, but that whole two-stop strategy that I was mentioning about, don't think it's going to happen.
No, I don't think so. I think as well, Sean, actually, I think we're going to see the drivers stay for a little bit longer because of the fuel. If they come into pits now, I don't think they'll be able to take on enough fuel to get to the end. Because they've only just gone through half a tank and they've got over half the race to go, so I think they need to do another 5 minutes. The Joker has just, he won't be laughing too hard, he's just picked up another 1 second penalty, which he served. That has dropped him right off the back of Racing Neil, and it's bringing him ever closer to his teammate Racing Mac, who's still hanging on in there. Puma Stiglet, he's down at the back, and again he's picked up a penalty as well, unfortunately, and they are getting themselves into a nice flow now, although no one is flowing the way Levi is.
No, certainly not.
It's just frightening. His last 4 laps, 1 minute 33.4, 1 minute 33.4, 1 minute 33.4. I'm not stuttering, that is his lap times, and then a 1 minute 33.5, just to keep it spicy. And Papaya Racer, his consistency, but can't knock that either. 33.7, 33.8, 33.7, 33.6, 33.5. 33.2, 33.2. So yeah, you can certainly see the tyres dropping off. The car's, wow, losing a bit of grip there. Papaya almost losing the car on my screen there, as we are watching Levi put in an absolutely masterful performance up at the front. And I'll tell you what to keep an eye on here, Sean. 4th place, VSR Varswater Viz. He is closing up on Deacon there in 3rd place. And if we saw an overtake before the pit stops, I would not be even remotely surprised. Varswater's tyres certainly feeling the pressure the way Deacon's are at the minute. The two completely different manufacturers, 2 completely different cars, 2 completely different drivers, but very, very, very similar lap times. And certainly Varswater Viz, his lap times, he is close in there behind, although Deacon is the holder of the fastest lap so far, so he has set the fastest individual lap. But when it comes to the consistency, at this stage, it's gold marks to Levi and Varswater Viz. He's hanging on to that 8/10 gap as they head through turn number 2 once again. We're already at 15 laps into this. We're 3 minutes away from the halfway mark of round number 1 here at Barcelona. The bottom 2 cars in this race will be relegated, and the top 2 will see themselves straight up to the top of the championship standings, of course. And we'll see the top 2 from tier 2 come up. It's going to be all kinds of fun. At the minute, it is Stigler and Racing Mac that are in that drop zone, but it is Vastwater Viz that is absolutely in the zone, and he's only got 4 tenths now, Sean, in 4th position. He has got that gap. Oh no, just as I say that, yeah, no, on the exit there, Tula Kamsa saw him into telemetry, jumped up and back down again through the penalty line. They come into Le Cakes. Of course, one of the corners changed for helmet homologation rules. Hasn't filtered through. Oh, I'll tell you what, Vastwater Viz, what an acceleration that was. Almost losing the back of the car. And I tell you what, Wolfie will be watching this. He'll be licking his lips together, Sean. He's only 1.7 down, but certainly his teammate has now given Deacon something to really, really think about.
Yes, and it does look like Vars is applying the brakes a little bit heavier than Deacon. I think Deacon is going for the smooth approach and just trying to get them tyres to last as long as possible, whilst Vars is trying to wring the absolute neck out of that car, and eventually it is probably going to punish you for that, but doing a fantastic job at the moment. He is about half a second adrift of Deacon. He really wants that last step on the podium, but through the sort of technical sections, this is where the cars tend to really struggle, particularly being so close behind the car in front. So yeah, Vars just needs to be a little bit more patient, but obviously try to get the optimal line through the corners and make sure that he's close enough down the straights that he can then use the slipstream to try to propel in front of that car who happens to be Deacon. But you can see in the background he has lost that gap slightly. And this is the problem I was mentioning, John. It's a fine line between being smooth and being fast, and yeah, Vars is definitely finding that out at the moment.
Indeed he is, yeah, and as you alluded to as well, it's all fine and well being. Oh, Levi in the pits, Deacon with a late dive into the pits there. Papaya Racer straight in as well. Whilst the drivers are going to go straight 50-50, are they going to come back out on the soft tyres? And I mean, the mediums, they've got the same amount of time to do. The mediums are almost completely worn out. I wonder. Oh wow, here we go then. What do we have for the drivers putting back on? That long wait while they put water, water in the drinks bottle and fuel, definitely petrol in the tank. Even in these insane GT2 cars. Levi is back out the pits, and he's back out on medium, Sean. Yes,
indeed. So I kind of predicted that it could be 16 laps on the mediums each. We are expecting 32 laps to be driven in this 50-minute race. So yeah, it's what could be expected, but a little bit surprised by the drivers in front. Vars at the moment, he obviously is on them very, very worn medium tyres, and actually Wolfie is starting to catch up to the back of Vars now. It does look like Wolfie's tyres looking a little bit better, but yeah, we're on lap number 17. Perhaps they're going to try and do the overcut, but yeah, the only thing I can think of, John, is maybe they'll do the medium soft strategy. So that will mean getting a few more laps on them medium tyres and then going for a fast stint on the soft tyres. But because yeah, they're still not pitting. So they've completed 17 laps now, on to lap number 18. Richard comes into the pits though from P3. That means Gallara will propel in front of him and move up into P3 provisionally, with JDJ now moving up into P4 as well. And you got to say, the tyre degradation on them tyres actually not too bad, considering that they've gone a couple of laps extra than the what was the race leaders. So this is definitely going to be very interesting now, John, because we've got two different strategies on show now. So who is going to come out on top? That is the question.
Yeah, it is indeed a very good question. I'm just looking at the lap times for the two drivers that have stayed out. They're definitely suffering. They're already in the 1:34s, which is very, very, very much off of race pace. So they're definitely losing time at the moment. Is it time they can gain back by taking on the soft tyres? Levi came in at the pits from the lead of the race. He's back out in 6th position with Deacon and Papaya behind them. They've both taken their pit stops. Papaya and Deacon now separated by half a second, with Papaya still in overall 2nd place. We'll see how the strategy is with the top 2 VSR drivers. Oh, Deacon just pushing it a bit too much on the way up into 4th there. He's going to regret that if he does it too often, but it's so easy to do when you're in the slipstream. The car's handling characteristics can change greatly, and definitely the amount of load that goes on the front tyres when you're jamming on the brakes absolutely does as well. Deacon looking to get an early stint overtake done if he can. He does look like he's got the pace over Papaya, and they'll be keen to close that gap up on Levi there, 7 seconds ahead. And Vastwater Viz, he stayed out again, Sean, so has Wolf, and Galabra and JDJ all staying out as well. Racing Neil still out on track, but he is being closed in on by the race leader coming into turn number 1. So we're going to see
John,
blue flags here.
Just going to cut you off there because Deacon comes flying through past Papaya Racer, guesses stopped on the sixpence and moves up into provisional P7. What a fantastic move there from Deacon, because he came in hot like a missile up the inside, and yeah, it looks like he's got some serious pace on them fresh medium tyres. Maybe Papaya Racer, maybe he will have an answer to it, but yeah, the slipstream very, very strong down the straights, and Deacon got the perfect exit out of the final corner of the of lap number 18. So yeah, changing in the hands potentially P2 and P3, but as you mentioned though, John, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see with Vars, Wolfie and Galava, but yeah, they are currently at least a second off the pace, aren't they? So they are losing time at this point, but whether or not they can gain it back by going onto the soft tyres remains to be seen.
And I'll tell you what remains to be seen, whether Deacon is about to set the fastest lap of the race on this one. Not only did he get the overtake, he was a 10th and a half up through sector 1. He's 3/10 up through sector number 2. I think he's going to get very close to a 31 in the race, which is not too bad going at all. Let's see what he does across line. He does go quicker by 2/10, so he lost a bit of time through sector 3 there, but still improves on the fastest lap of the race, while getting an overtake done to put himself up into provisional P2. Neil is 4 seconds ahead of Deacon, and Levi back up to 5th place by virtue of the pit stops. He's actually looking to set himself a personal best lap. His quickest was a 1:32.885, so close to the fastest time set by Deacon, but Deacon does now hold it by a couple of tenths of a second, as I'm keeping a close eye, Sean, on Vastwater Viz up at the front. He is running very low on fuel now, I can confirm, so too Wolfie's got slightly better fuel. I'll tell you what, Galabra and JDJ look like they could squeeze another lap out with the fuel tank. I'm not sure Vastwater can, and nope, he cannot. He's coming to the pits over the red Mike Kerbin, but that is Vastwater Viz into the pits. Wolfie has stayed out. The VSR team are really going for it. Galabra has come in, JDJ's come in as well, so it's Wolfie going lone wolf. His petrol tank's only just gone red. 21 laps into this one, Sean. His times are suffering, but they are consistent. It has to be said, he's actually just gone quicker on the previous lap, ever so slightly, but he's still in those 1:34s. He definitely is, I think, going for the soft tyres, and I wouldn't be overly surprised here, Sean, if we see JDJ, Vastwater and Galabra coming out on the softs, which they have. Oh, Sean, let's go. Vastwater Viz has just come out of the pits on the soft tyres. Galabra, soft tyres. JDJ, soft tyres. Neil's got to be strapping on a set of softs, and Wolfie is going, to almost bin it off the track. Oh, Wolfie's almost lost it on the way into Worth. He absolutely needs to get himself. He's picked up a penalty, Sean.
Yeah, I've just got the replay on now.
Apparently. Yep.
Sorry,
yeah, get the replay up, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just going to have a look myself now. So, yeah, go through the S's. Yeah, it goes a bit sketchy on the curb of the S's there. Onto... Oh, okay. Okay, I did miss out on the... turn 9 there on the replay, but yeah, as you said, John, he's picked up that half-a-second penalty, which is going to hurt him, and he dives into the pits now, John, from the provisional race lead. That does mean that Levitis is going to resume the race lead then, and he's got a comfortable lead, I have to say, John. It's 7.2 seconds over Deacon, who will eventually go into P2. It's going to be interesting, though, where Wolfie folds out into the circuit. I suspect he is going to be behind Vaz and Richard, of course, P5 and P6, or it would be P4 and P5, because Wolfie is still putting in that fuel. So Wolfie is sinking and sinking and sinking. There comes Galara across the start-finish line now. And where's Wolfie going to go? So Wolfie's just come out on circuit now, and he folds back into P6, just in front of Galara in P7 and JDJ in P8. So obviously we saw that Wolfie was kind of in tow with Vaz and Richard, but now the gap is 4 seconds to Richard. He's also got a half-a-second penalty to serve on this lap, and with Galara being 1.6 seconds behind at this stage of the lap, it could get very, very close once Wolfie serves that penalty, John.
Yeah, indeed, and the strategies, I'm just running over some of the competition there. Wiperman, he's out in 9th. I'll just run down a couple of guys. He's come back out on medium tyres. So is Racing Mac, the Joker, Neil and Stiglet down at the back of the grid. They're all out on medium tyres, which is significant because JDJ, Galabra, Wolfie, Richard and Varswater Viz are all on the much quicker soft tyre for the close of the race. Now, this is where the real fun comes in. Levi has potentially played... Oh, he's got a penalty.
Let's have a look on the replay. Was it out of the last turn, was it, John?
I think it was. I just jumped on as it appeared on his screen, so I do believe it was just out of the last corner that Levi's picked that up. Maybe just run a bit wide on that sausage curb.
Oh, we've got a bit of a battle for P2 though, John, between Deacon and Papaya. So he's definitely not rested on his laurels since Deacon made the overtake a few laps ago. He's all over the back bumper of Deacon right now. And yeah, I do suspect that there will be an overtake coming imminently from Papaya, but perhaps just hedging his bets for the time being and just waiting for the perfect opportunity to make the move stick. I suspect it'll be probably just after turn number 9. But he lost a little bit of time through the S's though, which would have not been ideal. But he's still just 0.4 of a second behind. I don't think he's going to close in for the time being, but I think... Oh, God, he got later on the brakes there and really closed that gap to Deacon through the hairpin. It is roughly about 3.5 tenths right now, and it just seems like he's getting a little bit more purchase through the corners right now at this stage of the race. We have got 13.5 minutes left of the race, so we are potentially saying about 10 laps. And he's 0.3 behind now, firmly in that slipstream, Papaya. And I think there is going to be an overtake coming up right this second, and he flies over to the inside and actually makes the move stick before we even got into Elf at turn 1, John.
Yeah, now I think what we've just seen there, Sean, is a 200 race IQ from Papaya and Deacon.
Yes.
And the reason that is 200 race IQ is because the gap between them, and big shout out to Estienne in the chat who almost 50 minutes ago said, look out for Varswater Viz, he is pure speed. On soft tyres, he really absolutely is. He has taken the fastest lap. He's gone half a tenth slower than the fastest lap on his next lap, and he's taken a second out with the drivers ahead of him. So I'm not quite so sure we're going to see a battle between Papaya and Deacon. I think we are going to see the two of them slingshot past one another, use the slipstream to their advantage, because I tell you, you were talking about 9 there for a reason, and it popped into my head. Lap 29, we're going to see Vastwater Viz battling for a podium position. You heard it here first. That is going to happen, and all the while this is playing right into Levi's hand, because Vastwater Viz is going to have to craft out an absolutely incredible double overtake. He's going to have the soft tyres. He's going to have a lot more grip. They are going to be a bit more, and that gap is already down to 3.3 seconds, Sean. I don't think it's going to take to lap 29. I think Deacon and Papaya really do now need to properly just keep working together to try and pull away, because we're going to have to re-nickname Vastwater Viz Thanos, because at this stage he is just absolutely inevitable.
Yes, indeed. And one rule in this league, John, is that bump drafting is not allowed. Yes, you can work together. Yes, allow each other through, and perhaps use that turbulence or that slipstream, and as you say, use that IQ to really try to maximise your pace without battling. But yeah, no bump drafting is allowed, and they are on the inferior tyre, and it's just a matter of how long can them softs hold up in the laps to come, John. John, can you just take over for 1 minute, and I'll be back very, very shortly. Keep you on board with Vast, though.
Yeah, still on board with Vast. Of course, it is round number 1, the Sim Motorsport Association. 12 absolutely incredible rounds. The first 5 rounds, there will be promotions and relegations throughout all 6 tiers. 3 drivers from this tier, in fact, one of them not able to make it tonight due to internet issues, so he will be down to tier 2. And the bottom 2 in this tier, who at the minute is Stiglet and Racing Neil, although Max and Joker just ahead, so there's going to be a battle for the 2 that are getting dropped. Right the way through the season, of course, round number 6, there is a special event that will mark the end of the promotion and relegation season, and the final 6 rounds will be duelled out in the divisions that the drivers are then in. Sorry, I'm still looking at this battle. Vastwater Viz down to 1.7 seconds, and I tell you what, Papaya Racer, he definitely doesn't fancy giving up his podium position at all, does he? He's got 1.1 seconds between himself and Deacon, as Vastwater Viz is absolutely lurking. He is wringing the neck out with those soft tyres. He's got 10 minutes to make them last to the end, and that is going to be quite the ask. So we'll see just how much grip he's got. He should still have more grip than the medium tyres. They will have a lot more rubber on them, but you would expect the softs to have more grip. And again, he is just absolutely incredible at this stage of the race. So again, big shout out to Estienne in the chat for pointing out Vastwater Viz. What a prediction that was. Levi, all the while, this is played right into his hands, because again, Vastwater Viz has still got 2 cars to get past. It's all fine and well being on the quicker tyre, but you've still got to make that overtake, and at this level, yeah, drivers know how to defend short corner. Levi knows how to consistently put in lap after lap after lap after lap. Never at any point in time has he held the fastest lap of the race either. It's not about the pace, it's all about that consistency. Qualifying is vanity and finishing position is sanity, and Levi is going to be the most sane driver in the race come the end of round number 1. A phenomenal marker to lay down for the championship ahead. He is just, yeah, consistency personified there. And Vastwater Viz, he's doing not too bad a job either. He's just lost 4/10 here, so the pace of the softs is actually starting to drop off ever so slightly, Sean. But he's still, I'm sure I did say lap 29. We're on lap 27 and he's 1.2 seconds behind. could this be the day that Double Raven gets the prediction correct? Wow.
Stranger things can happen, eh? but yeah, certainly though, John, yeah, them soft tyres on Vos is starting to wear considerably now, and this is the kind of window now where it's only downhill from here. So what he'll be hoping for is some kind of battle to happen just in front of him between Papaya Racer and Deacon. But right now, Papaya Racer has developed a 1.2 second gap over Deacon, and Deacon just on the edge of that slipstream range. It will come tumbling down slightly, but yeah, for the time being, this is not music to Vars's ears, because although he has actually closed that gap to Deacon by a few tenths, down to just under a second, but it is it's a moment of time, basically. It's a matter of time, should I say, for Vars to try and make a move, because he really needs to make it pay off now or sooner rather than later. Otherwise, he may sink a bit further down the grid. We have actually got Wolfie. That is 5.4 seconds down on Vars in P5. Of course, he's also sporting the Racing Soft tyres. He has got a 1 second lead over VSR Richard, who is
10th
on
place.
Oh, 10th place.
Sorry, battle for 10th place. Racing
Yeah.
Mark and Racing Neil, the Puma team, are absolutely clawing at one another's positions here. Look at how close these legs are. Oh, and I tell you what, Neil has just taken full advantage of a bit of a runway through turn number 4 there. His teammate gifted him that position. It has to be said, that was, much easier than Neil anticipated there, and that is a very nice bit. And I can tell you, that was been getting set up for a while. Neil's been behind his teammate for about 3-4 laps there. Found that chink in the armour and sailed on through, and you love to see it side by side, full-blooded racing, because this is not a team event. As beautiful it is to see all these team liveries out there and the teams being represented. Sorry, Sean, on you go.
Yes, John, we've got Vars all over the back of Deacon right now. I don't think he's going to make the move as we get into the braking zone for Elf on turn number 1, but he has closed that gap considerably. It was down to about 3/10 of a second, but yeah, at this stage, just maybe a little bit costly for him, because he really would have wanted to make the move on turn number 1, because of course Vars's tyres looking worse for wear. We've got 5 minutes left of this race, and it is starting to
round the outside the camp, sir. You heard it here first.
yes.
It's lap 29. Honestly, Sean, I'm going to put my money on this one. Here we come through Worth, up the hill. He's going to have so much more grip through here. If he plays that sausage curve right, he's going to get a big old slingshot. Oh, no, he's not. I've got this one wrong. Oh, wow. Couldn't that be any closer at LeCamp says. Surely they're going to send it. Oh, he's getting sent round the outside of LeCakes, and then Deacon says, you know what, you've got the grip, you take it round the outside.
Oh!
Or has he just opened up the cut back?
He's performed
there's a bit
the
of a
old
mistake.
switcheroo! He's performed the old switcheroo, and took an outside line to the inside line and made the move stick on Deacon and moves himself up into P3. What a fantastic move from Vars. But will Deacon come fighting back as we go around the last turn of lap number 29? He's going to be firmly in the slipstream of Vars. Is he going to be able to use that slipstream and power past Vars before we get into turn number 1? I don't think it's going to work. I think he is going to have to form behind Vars for the time being, but this is going to be a very, very close ending for the last step on the podium, John, because they are going to and from, and with Vars's
Papaya's
tyres.
got a penalty.
Oh, okay.
Oh, Papaya's got a half-second penalty. Just to throw that one into the works as well, Vasswater Viz, his ears just pricked up. He can smell blood in the water. Somebody should be playing the Jaws theme right now. He's 1.9 seconds down. We've got, a couple of laps left of the race. Papaya Racer is going to lose himself close to a second here against the car that is moving at some points a second quicker than him. Sticking the lap quicker than him. This is going to be fun. He is going to get slowed down on this lap. The top, this podium battle is absolutely alive. Deacon is still hanging on at the back of Varswater-Viz. So yeah, Varswater-Viz might be quick on the softs, but Deacon is on the mediums, and he is still hanging with him. And when he's still hanging with him, he's almost in the back seat, enjoying the driving movie. These two are that close through the last couple of corners. And Papaya Racer, he has lost 0.7 of a second. The gap's gone from 1.9 to 1.2 round the last corner. We are 30 laps deep into this, Sean.
And here comes Deacon.
No idea.
Here comes Deacon, although Vaz is going to defend the inside line. And Deacon's going to try it around the outside. He's got the overspeed though, and it looks like he's going to get in front of him before turn 1. And yes, he does. Back up into P3 for Deacon. Vaz gets slightly pushed wide there, and Vaz actually allowed to go through to reclaim P3 for the time being. We've got 2 minutes left of the race, and it looks like Deacon's got the inside line for turn number 5, and he has made it stick. And back up into P3, John. Oh, John, I can't believe how fast and frantic this is right at the final stages of this race, and they're having a good old ding-dong battle between them. And can you
can we keep up with what's going on, Sean?
Yes,
I seriously doubt it. I mean, how is Deacon keeping up on the medium tyres? When we're talking about Varswater-Viz, but now his tyres actually are pretty much all red. We must be very close to the final lap. For some reason, I don't have a full race timer on my screen. Great racing. This is incredible racing. And Estienne, incredible prediction as well that Varswater-Viz was going to be fast. But all hail Deacon at this point. Again, on the medium tyres, for goodness sake. Varswater-Viz has wrung the neck out of the soft, so they're probably equilibriously matched in the amount of grip that they've got. And it's Deacon that's making it count. And Papaya Racer has refound that 0.7 of a second. I'll tell you, out of everyone on the grid, Papaya Racer was breathing the biggest sigh of relief there when these two behind him swapped positions again, because he had a very sticky wicket ahead of him, with Varswater-Viz on the softs chasing him down.
And he's picked up half a second.
Picked up a penalty.
Yeah. I think he went a little bit wide out of the penultimate corner, where the lack of tyre grip left in them soft tyres, I think, John. But yeah, it's very unfortunate.
Still a battle for 8th.
Still a battle for 8th. Okay, we are possibly on the last lap of the race here, but yes, we do need to have a look at some of the drivers. Yeah, there is a 1 second gap between
it was a bit closer, but yeah,
JDJ and Galava for P7 and P8 respectively. But how's the drop zone looking? Because it looks like Mac is going to just about remain in tier number 1. It's looking like the Joker and Stigler are going to get relegated into tier 2 for next week with such a gap. So let's get back on board with Levitis, because we've hardly talked about him, John.
Final lap for Levi. Yeah, talk him home, because we've not talked about him, because if it ain't broke, you don't fix it. It flies under the radar. It's been an absolute Barcelona masterclass from Levi, Sean.
He's just coming around the final corner now, and he's going to be the first winner to come across the line in this SMA GT500 Championship. Great drive from Levitius, and congratulations to him, finishing just under 10 seconds in front of Papaya Racer, who finishes in P2. Deacon takes home the P number 3 ahead of Vaz, who valiantly was battling for the podium position. He will have to accept P number 4, but Wolfie will take 5th position. Richard in P6, JDJ in 7th position. Galara takes 8th position. It looks like Whipperman is going to finish with a 9th position. And yeah, he may even have heard us there as he wiggles side to side to take home that top 9 position, with Neil with the top 10 position. Puma Racing Mac gets that last position to finish in the tier 1s for next week, and it is Puma the Joker that grabs P12, with Puma Stig that grabbing P13. So just I don't know what to say. I'm out of breath, John.
Yeah, and I can't say I blame you. That is absolutely mind-blowingly close right through the field. The strategies, as Sean and I alluded to at the start, it's all going to be about those tyres. It's all going to be about those strategies. Varswater Viz and a few of the drivers rolled the dice, and they very, very, very nearly got there. Yahtzee, Varswater Viz did pick up the fastest lap with a 1:31.8, so cheeky few prizes there. But the driver that did spend the least amount of time on camera, the driver that did do the most consistent laps, the most perfect pit stop, and got it absolutely nailed from start to finish, took pole, took the pole and the checkered flag. Mr. Levitius, can't say I'm massively surprised given what I've seen on his Twitch stream. The Nissan GTR was certainly the meta car here at Barcelona. 3 of them on the podium. The Hondas really did try their best. Big shout out to VSR Richard and the VSR team getting 5 drivers into the top 8. An absolute phenomenal team performance, and of course big shout outs to Team Puma as well. 4 of their drivers taking part, and they were absolutely full-blooded racing with one another as well for those drop zone positions. What an opening round, Sean. Absolutely incredible. And Lago Maggiore. Yes, please.
Yeah, yes, please. Sorry, I just completely forgot to turn my microphone on. That's very professional from me there.
There we go. That's when you know you're a professional. When you come back from a link, you mute your mic so you can type and no one hear the keys, and you forget to unmute to talk again. We've all been there, my man.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. It was, what can I say, John? It was a fabulous race. I mean, literally, we had no time to really rest, really. There was action throughout the grid there. I have to say, fair play to Vars, who really took the race to Deacon for the fight of the last step on the podium. It's really remarkable, John, because obviously you saw the tyre degradation on his soft tyres, and, you know, most people wouldn't be able to keep the car on the circuit, let alone, keep it competitive and fight to try to, grab that P3. Yes, I know the medium tyres are the harder of the compounds, the slower of the tyres, but at that stage there, the mediums would have felt so much better than the soft tyres. So fair play to Vars for fighting it out. Obviously, congratulations to Deacon for finishing with that P3. And obviously, Levitius as well. I mean, just didn't put a wheel wrong at all, did he? It was a faultless race from Levitius, and fully deserved race victory.
Absolutely, as you say, near faultless performance. I think most drivers did actually pick themselves up a cheeky little penalty. The adrenaline was certainly running for round number 1. There's a lot on the line. Did we mention promotion and relegation? Round after round. But yeah, you really can't take nothing away from Levi. He came into the pits with a 7-second lead. He crossed the line with a 9-second lead. And there was cars out on track with a faster tyre compound. Made absolutely no difference whatsoever. He's a phenomenal human being. He's a really quick driver. I'm really beginning to dislike this guy.
Yeah, the jealousy is real. The jealousy is real.
I know, just save a little bit for the rest of us. Come on, is it too much to ask, Levi? Honestly. But we'll see how they do next week, Sean, because it's all fine and well. Barcelona, as we know, that is quite the testing track, but that downhill right-hander at Lago Maggiore, never mind the uphill chicane section.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, John, I mean, this is one of them circuits that it's quite hard to make moves on, I think, because there's a lot of there's a lot of left to right turns and a few. Well, I'd say probably the Banky Boy. That's what I know it as. I think that's one of the best corners on the circuit calendar. Yeah, it's definitely one of them sort of like risk reward corners where when you get it, absolutely perfect, it feels amazing. Get it wrong, you've got a sand trap awaiting you. So it can go from amazing to absolute disaster in one corner. Maggiore, I mean, have you got fond memories of that circuit, John?
I absolutely love that circuit. It's one of my all-time favourites on GT7. If I'm not mistaken, Maggiore is very much like Dragon Trail. So the course is fictitious, but it has been used. It has used real-life corners as its guide. Dragon Trail, it's all over the place. And Lago Maggiore, stealing those corners from Portimao is just absolute genius. And it's a phenomenal configuration of a track that, again, just an exaggerated Barcelona. It puts everything through the mill, the drivers, the wheels, the cars. It really brings out the best of everything.
Yeah, and it is a real location as well, John. But as you just mentioned, a fictional circuit, but using the best of quite a lot of real life circuits. It's definitely a great addition to Gran Turismo, and definitely can't wait for this race. Of course, it is happening next week at. Your usual place, the Sim Motorsport Association YouTube channel on Monday the 10th of February, 8:45 p.m. Eastern Africa time. Can't wait to see how this one plays out. Also as well, if you would like to check out the socials of the Sim Motorsport Association, we have a Facebook, Instagram, and also definitely check out the Discord link as well. We've got over 180 members strong in their Discord now, and we're looking to grow it even further. And certainly, if you would like to get involved in these leagues in the future, then definitely go and join and get yourself involved in the general chat. And I'm pretty sure sign-ups will be imminent for season 2, so definitely join the Discord, as well as on this YouTube channel. Of course, guys, please make sure you do hit that subscribe button, hit that like button as well, because it really does help out on the YouTube algorithm and help grow this amazing community. Definitely check us out next week, as I said, for round number 2. We're going to have 3 new drivers as well in tier number 1. Maybe they could challenge the drivers that exist in tier 1 right now. It's as I say, this is an absolute fantastic event. Love to be here, love to be involved, and thank you to everyone for making me feel so welcome. Also, we'll have to mention this as well, and they'll probably kill me after this broadcast, but these 2 people really do deserve the recognition of their hard work in the background and organising this fantastic event. They've created all the graphics and made my job very, very easy, to the point where I just have to talk and push buttons. I mean, how easy is that, John?
Yeah, good question.
But for all those on the SMA Discord, do make sure you click on the profiles of Robin, aka Puma the Joker, and Peter the Pit Lane, and follow all their links, and give a good high five and show the appreciation in the general chat. So amazing that they've put in the blood, sweat and tears, and also racing tonight as well. So, I mean, not only have they been organising the league, but also, they've had to put in the practice and compete. So it must be very, very stressful. So do make sure you support them. 2 amazing guys. So John, lastly, please, guys, go and support my good friend John. He's a streamer on Twitch at 00 Raven. John, hopefully you did enjoy tonight. And I hope we can have you back at some point through the season.
Yes, and there's as a full-blooded commentator and lover of motorsports, that absolutely ticked every single box there. We had overtaking action, we had close as you can get qualifying, tyre strategy, lap strategy, we had overtakes right down to the end. What's not to love? Yeah, I believe we'll be back for round 5. In fact, I think it's round 5 when is the next break in my calendar. I am here, there and everywhere with the commentary myself. But yeah, I am hoping to be back for round number 5. I know that it will be the legend that is Hugh that is coming on for the next few rounds. I'm very, very jealous. In fact, I'm going to be making sure I'm going back and watching the broadcasts as soon as I finish my stuff for FRL that I'll be on at the time. But yeah, just been an absolutely incredible night of racing, and I would like to echo those thoughts as well. Thank you as well to Robin and Peter, have been absolutely incredible, and thank you to the sponsors as well for getting the sim racing brands out there and making it so accessible to every single corner of the planet. And thank you to everyone in the chat as well. You've all been absolutely incredible. We hope you've enjoyed round 1. And yeah, let's see where we are in 12 weeks' time for the final.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, I can't wait. And one thing to consider as well is that the point system is actually based off of the GTWS GT7 series. So the top tier will have like 450 points all the way down to like 300 points or something like that. And it gets lower as you go down the tiers as well. So it's quite a familiar point system. And I do believe that it makes it pretty fair throughout the tiers. But yeah, it's been absolutely phenomenal today. I would say as well, guys, if you don't already know me, I am Flawed Genius Gaming on Twitch. So I am a streamer myself. And if you are in the world of Twitch, then I would really, really appreciate the support on my channel. I do a lot of like retro story and certainly sim race titles as well, whether it's GT7, Assetto Corsa, AMS2. Yeah, I love it. So definitely go check me out. Definitely go and check out Double O Raven or John Wright on Twitch. And John, what kind of content can we expect on your channel?
We can expect a grumpy old man building Lego and racing open wheel race cars, and occasionally doing NASCAR as well. So yeah, NASCAR. Yeah, we do NASCAR, I do open wheel F4s, and I build Lego and play darts as well.
Oh, wow.
Did someone say ADHD? Yes, sir. All the boxes ticked. So yes, it's a smorgasbord that you could be treated to there. So yeah, jump on over.
Yeah, and you get to experience his commentary live in the flesh as well. So, I mean, what can you not like about that?
Far too kind. Far too kind.
Well, you know, John, as I said, thank you very much. You're an absolute legend for joining me tonight. You know, I'd be absolutely lost without you. Although, as you did mention, I do have the awesome Hugh Hattrick with me next week. For the next couple of weeks, so definitely come and tune in. But yeah, that is our time done on this broadcast. So it was Levitius who claimed top spot and grabbed maximum points in the Tier 1 season opener. Can anyone stop him? Well, find out and tune in next week, same place, same time, 8:45 p.m. Eastern Africa time on Monday the 10th of February. But until then, it's a good night from John.
Good night, everyone.
And it's a good night from me. Stay safe. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.